Hello and welcome, my name is Dan and these are the 5 top games that made me into a gamer when I was just a little wee kid. At number 1 we have Commandos Behind Enemy Lines by Pyro Studios, which was my first ever computer game. The first few titles in the series were all tactical stealth games, taking place during World War II. These games were split into missions where your aims range from snatching VIPs to blowing up bridges and airports. Every level provided the player with just a small group of characters out of a bigger selection of soldiers who had their own unique weapons and skills. To complete the game you had to learn every character well enough to use them wisely. For example, the Green Beret was best used as the main killing machine due to his speed and strength. The Spy could camouflage himself in uniforms and explore dangerous areas behind enemy lines. The Sniper could shoot enemies from a safe distance to clear the route for the Green Beret, and the Explosives guy could plant bombs and throw grenades to destroy vehicles and buildings. Sadly, the franchise ditched the tactical isometric view in 2006 with the release of Commando Strikeforce, which was a first-person shooter. The game was a dodgy move as it pushed the franchise towards the more action-oriented missions. This resulted in a game where you could just shoot your way through a level, rather than carefully taking it apart. Strikeforce also had the smallest selection of characters in any Commandos game to date, with even some of the most classic soldiers being removed. Not all is lost, as there is some good news. Recently, Calypso Media acquired the rights to the franchise, promising to revive the series again with a new game. With Calypso's blessing, I am sure that Commandos will make a comeback to the former glory. At number 2 we have Gorky 17, which was the second ever computer game I played as a kid. Gorky 17 had a cool mixture between adventure game-like exploration and tactical turn-based combat. The game was set in 2008, which was still considered the far future back in 1999. You play as a small team of soldiers who were sent by NATO, consisting of an American, a Frenchman and a Polish bloke. The goal was to find out what the hell was going on with mutants crawling around every corner in a ruined Polish city, which supposedly had a Russian scientific base underneath. I remember being freaked out by the setting of that game, as it was happening in my own country just a few years into the future. As a child who loved playing chess with his grandparents, I think it was the combat in Gorky that made me love the game so much though. During fights, everyone moved and attacked in zones split into grids, in turn-based sequences. Just like on chessboard I thought, each enemy and soldier had different attack types, depending on their weapons. This again reminded me of chess, as I thought that changing my weapons felt like choosing a different pawn in my turn. I also loved the dark feel of the game, with what seemed like good visuals at the time. However, one thing that has aged very well is the game's soundtrack, which I can still hear playing in my head. Just like the first entry, Gothic 17 changed its style completely in its sequels. Gorky Zero and Soldier Elite both seem like clones of Metal Gear Solid, and this change was absurd, as the third-person stealth gameplay had nothing to do with the turn-based combat in Gorky 17. Since then, no further plans for a reboot were made, and I can only hope that this is a good thing. At number 3 we have a game from a series which I have covered on this channel before. Even though I spoke about Gothic 1 already in different videos, it was Gothic 2 that took me to places I have never visited before in my life. This game is a sequel done right, as it develops on its older brother without ruining anything in its wake, unlike some other entries on this list. But I digress. You start the game as a nameless hero who can barely kill harmless sheep. After a few purple eyes and rude comments, the player finally ascends the social class ladder to become a dragon-murdering, demon-hunting, orc-terrorizing hero with divine powers. The role-playing depth in Gothic 2, as well as its faction system, helped me understand what immersion in video games meant. Mind, this is back in the day when I didn't even know the word immersion. Playing as a Mage of Fire is the most satisfying role-playing experience I have ever played through, as it forces the player to invest everything into becoming a better wizard. The game takes it so far that you have to set out into the world looking for rare items and animal trophies to be able to craft a spell. This is easily one of the most immersive things I have ever done in gaming. It isn't a perfect game, sure, but which RPG from the Morrowind era is? Sadly, Gothic 3 was a broken mess due to developers not finishing the game on time, and Gothic 4 wasn't even a Gothic game. It isn't all bad though, as Piranha Bytes once again are in control of the franchise. However, they are slightly scared of reviving Gothic since there is so much to live up to. At number 4 we have Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, which is the first console game to have an impact on me. Even though I have already played Gorky 17, which was spooky at that age, I have never felt as terrified as I did while playing Resi 3 when my parents weren't looking. The fear factor in that game was how oppressive Raccoon City felt, with zombies overrunning the streets. All action was happening in real time, with weird camera angles never showing you everything you'd want to see. Armed with just a little handgun, it was almost impossible to take all enemies down. This wasn't the main issue though, oh no. The thing that absolutely terrified me to the bone was the Nemesis, who was this tanky hulk of a zombie always chasing after you, no matter where you would go. There was no outrunning him, as he moved twice as fast as you did. Fighting him was almost as pointless as convincing my mum to let me play this game legally, as you would always come back to life no matter what you would do. Essentially, fighting him was just a waste of ammo, as he was a bullet sponge that never goes down. Even now, whenever I play games like Outlast or Remove It, I always drift back towards the memory of Nemesis chasing me around Raccoon City. I'm super excited to see him reworked in the upcoming remaster of the game, which is happening, I'm sure of it. At number 5 we have Tenchu, Birth of the Stealth Assassins, which was a game I played too much way too young. In this third-person stealth ninja game, you learn that humans always carry a lot of blood inside them. You slash through the bodies with sharp Japanese blades in a series of satisfying stealth attacks, as you make your way through the forests and villages. The two characters you can play as, by the name of Rikimaru and Ayame, are still my two favourite ninja characters of all time. This game taught me something new about stealth, which I have never known before. The idea was so similar yet so different to that from Commandos, I thought. Yet in Commandos you always saw the exact placement of your enemies by looking down on the map. In Tenchu, however, you had to take every few steps at a time, with a low view distance and clunky camera controls. I never had to be as stealthy and collected before, even while playing Resi 3 in secret from my mum. The legacy of Tenchu games still lives on, with From Software developing on so many mechanics from those games and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Dear devs, can I have more of that please? So these are the 5 video games that made me into a gamer. What did you play as a kid? Let me know in the comment section down below, and leave a like if you've played any of the games mentioned in this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.